Trustee Litkouhi, do you have any comments?
Sure. Our board president and vice president will be attending the MASB Delegate Assembly soon to cast votes on behalf of our board. President Buttel asked trustees for feedback, so early last week I reviewed the handbook, sent a few concerns, and even offered to help draft amendments. I never got a response, but I do want to share 3 of my points because these recommendations could directly affect our kids' education if local boards defer to them. First, strategic plan. MASB wants districts to align their goals with the State Board of Education. This could be harmless, but the question is, should we let Lansing limit Rochester's local authority to set our own priorities? I believe MASB's statement should be amended and clarified to reduce confusion and ensure local control is prioritized. Second is inclusive literature. This topic always riles people up because inclusion is generally a positive thing. The problem is when it goes too far, and then parents become upset when they discover that their kids have been reading books describing sexual acts, violence, even sexual fetishes. Take the book on my social media page last week that had some grandpas dressed up in BDSM gear. Interesting side note, it turns out that book was removed from the 8th grade classroom, but not for sexual reasons. It was because it was marketed for early elementary instead of middle school students, so wrong age group. But anyway, the dishonest critics like to say, parents are trying to ban books for my kids, just opt your kids out. But parents can't opt out of something that they don't know about. They usually find out after their kids read it and ask questions. So that's why I'm suggesting an amendment with a safeguard for MASB that clear parental notification and local board discretion for curriculum and library materials. Remember, the Supreme Court in Mahmoud versus Taylor has affirmed that parents have the right to know and to opt out. Third is assessments and testing. MASB says they support valid assessments, but they also want to move away from using objective measures like growth and proficiency as the main criteria for school success. But here's the problem. What are we using instead? We all know that subjective measures matter too, but ultimately weakening the objective standards only hurts kids and removes accountability. My amendment suggests restoring a balance, keeping objective data central while also allowing other factors for context. Now, I don't know if these concerns about keeping goals local, respecting parents' rights, and maintaining rigorous standards will be carried forward by our representatives, or if it would even make a difference for the MASB. But I'm telling you here because our community deserves transparency and schools that put students and parents first, well above the agendas of these outside organizations.
Trustee Annis?
Thank you, Madam President. As a proud Gen Xer, I just want to say that the antidote to parent fear of content is parent involvement. So as a parent, when my children came to Rochester Community Schools, I made sure that I was in the classroom and I talked with their teachers and I saw the content in the classroom. So that's all I have to say about that.
I'm not prepared to really respond to some of the things Trustee Litkouhi said, but I'll just go off the cuff on some of it. And particularly the book issue, because we have in this district, and we always have had in this district, a system for challenging books that you don't want your children to read. There is, I think it's on our website. I know that there is a way that you can do it, but we do have parents trying to ban books for all kids. It's not true that parents just want to just want to control for their own kids. I talked about one tonight, and I don't want to call out a parent, but there was a parent who wanted to ban Harry Potter from the entire district. She got a response from her school, and then she responded back, well, that's great for my school, but I want it for the whole district. And that is what we face here. There are people who want to control what your children read, not just what their children read. And so that's what we have to deal with, and it's hard. The Mahmoud decision that was talked about, I could write up a whole thing about that. I read that entire decision cover to cover. I urge anybody who wants to read that decision, but particularly the dissent from Justice Sotomayor, which is just so good, but it explained how difficult that is going to be, a very difficult decision to implement for a school district, because it does not say that parents get notification of LGBT-themed materials and they get to opt their kids out. It said that parents must be notified of any curriculum that could conflict with anybody's religious beliefs. And then somehow we're supposed to let everyone in the district know of any possible book that might conflict with any possible religion and give them an opportunity to opt out. I don't know how we're going to do that, and I don't know how any school district will do that, which is what Justice Sotomayor wrote about for pages and pages. But anyways, that's something that we will face going forward, and I think that we'll hear more about this.
Thank you. Trustee Alspa.
So Trustee Blake, I think that was very well said about literacy and parental rights. So I appreciate your giving us your thoughts on that.
Well, first, I hadn't planned to mention this, but since Trustee Litkouhi brought it up, I did receive her email. I honestly have not had an opportunity to review everything. I had asked all of our board members to review it, and I was specifically expecting feedback on the items that were up for a vote, which I believe there was one item that maybe was on there, but otherwise there were other pieces of their bylaws that I believe she was looking to have updated. And I would just personally, while I will look at them and see, I would certainly recommend that you register next year and potentially go so that you could bring these forward if that is something you feel extremely concerned about.
Madam President,
Trustee Litkouhi, do you have a point of order?
I move to suspend the rules to allow me a brief right of reply when other members directly rebut my comments, since the president's prescribed speaking order specifically prevents me from responding every time this happens.
Motion to suspend the rules. Thank you. That was moved by Trustee Litkouhi. Is there support for that? Seeing no support, we will move forward.